Hello everybody, it's me Sam here from WoopaGaming, and today I'm going to show you how to use and install the FalseBook plugin for Bucket. So what is FalseBook? Basically it modifies the mechanics of the Minecraft game, and it does this via many things. One of the things is integrated circuits. These are like redstone objects, I guess you would call them. There's 83 of them, and they basically can modify input and output and do things. So, for instance, you could spawn a mob when power's going through it, like water sensors, arrow shooting, day control, repeaters, and that sort of thing. There's also other stuff. There's ports, bridges, doors, gates, lifts, and toggleable areas. We'll go over that in this tutorial. There's some minecart mechanics that we'll go over as well, similar to Minecraft Mania. It's got a cauldron feature, which we'll be going over, and there's probably some more, I think, isn't there? There are some more, but we'll go over those. There we are. Oh yeah, toggleable pumpkins, toggleable areas, bridges, doors, and whatnot. And you're probably thinking, how do they do bridges? You'll see. I'll show you how to use and install it, and there we go. So, download it. Right, so you'll get all these jars, and you'll also get installation.txt. So let's open that up, and this will just show you how to install it. So just copy the things across, and it also takes all the permissions there, so you add them and whatnot. So let's go over. So let's drag that FalseBook directory in, and FalseBook cool. FalseBook IC will add all the integrated circuits to it, which we'll go over. FalseBook Extra will add toggleable pumpkins, netherrack, and I think it's glowstone as well. The chat, we'll just add FalseBook chat. FalseBook cart will modify all the cart mechanics, and then block is like doors, gates, and whatnot. So we're just going to run the server just to create any files, and then we have all this FalseBook good, and then go to your FalseBook directory and you'll get all these things. So areas, IC, wiki, world, and world nether. And okay, so areas, these will be your toggleable areas will be stored, so you don't have to worry about that. IC wiki, so this is where you can have your integrated circuits, and this is like a wiki type thing. So if we look at template all, click the wrong one. Yeah, I have no idea what this is. Don't know what it's doing there. Alright, ignore that. World. Each world will have its own folder, and each one will have its own properties. So let's just go over the one for world. It's the exact same for world nether. Let's go over it. So these, for each plugin, there's properties. So FalseBook block. These are all the settings for the bridges, gates, doors, and whatnot. So you can set that to true or false for bridge enabled, door enabled, gate enabled. The selection tool 290, which I believe is a wood hoe. Craft cauldron on workbench, false. You've also got apple drop chance, which are from leaves and stuff. Allowed bridge blocks, allowed door blocks. You can modify that to how you want. These are cart plugins, so these are the boosters, the brakes, eject things and whatnot. You can modify the type of the block. This is the ID, and then the value of it. So you can modify that all there. The value is the how much it costs to put down. So if you have an economy plugin, that's how much it costs. And there's all the settings there. FalseBook Extra, these are just setting toggleable pumpkins and netherrack and glowstone. Set that to true or false. When glowstone is off, it turns to, I believe, cell sand. and then if you want the data value, so I don't know if you want to turn it to raw or something. And that's the same with another. Books.txt, this is where you can put like a sentence that will come up when someone right clicks a bookcase, and basically that's like reading a book. So you just got random lines of stuff here, so you can just change that if you want. Cauldrons, this is where you can create your own recipes for cauldrons. I'll go over how to do cauldrons again, but let's add another one. So we're going to add mossy cobble. Okay, so the first bit is all the ingredients. So we're going to have an ingredient. So let's, for the ingredients, we're going to have cobblestone, 2 cobblestone. So first of all, we'll do 2 star times, and then the ID of cobble, which I'm just grabbing now. It's full. Yep, full. Then colon, and then if you want an ID, you can add that, but we're not going to add ID. Then comma for the next one. I'm going to have 2 times, and then we'll have dot, which is 3. Then you want to do a semicolon, and then this is what it makes. So this makes 2 times, and then mossy cobble, which I don't know the ID of. It is 48. Actually got moss stone. I'll call it mossy cobble. And that's how you add it. Oops, sorry. And you can change the ID by doing colon and then the ID, but because mossy cobble is mossy cobble, the ID is the same. So that's how that is. Go as many as you like, and we'll go over how to use them in game. Okay, so we've got some more properties. So FalseBook block. So these are all the same as what we've got in the world ones and cart and extra. But FalseBook IC. Now this is where self-triggered IC, so you don't have to create them. It takes max replace blocks, load unloaded chunks. So that's totally up to you to change that. So you can set that to true or false, depending if you want self-triggered things. And this is where the database is stored of the triggered ICs. So we're going to go in game now, and I'll show you how to use the ICs, how to create gates, and how to do all the stuff for FalseBook. Alright, see you in a bit. Hello everybody, now join me in game, and I'll be going over all the FalseBook in-game mechanics and whatnot. So first of all, we are going to start with ICs. IC stands for Integrated Circuits, and these are your redstone little devices, I guess, that we'll be able to use. And now I'm not going to go over them because I believe there's 83 of them at the current making of this video. I'm just going to go for the cool ones. So what we're going to do is start with rising toggle. So let's see how to do this. So first of all, give ourselves a stone just to use as a block. You can use anything really. We use sign. We're going to need a lever, which we'll place in the back here. We're going to need another lever actually. Yeah, I haven't essentials installed so I can spawn stuff. And we're going to get some redstone as well. So let's just bring it around there. And there we are. So this is our circuit. As you can see, it doesn't work at the moment, but we're going to use an IC to integrate this into the circuit. So the way you do this is on the second line, you insert MC and then the ID of the integrated circuit. These are on the wiki. I'll provide a link in the description. But this is the rising toggle. So I'm going to show you this how it works, and understanding this one will help you with the rest one, all the rest of them. So 1017 is the ID of the IC. So input that in, done, and then we are rising toggle created. Okay, so this is a integrated circuit that will toggle the flip-flop that toggles its output between low and high whenever the clock, the input, changes from low to high. So basically, when this goes from off to on, this will change. But when this goes to off to no, on to off, then it won't change. So I'll show you. So this is going to go on, and there you are. Because that's gone from off to on, this has changed. But now this is going to go from on to off. It won't change. As you can see now, this hasn't changed. But if I go again, it has changed. So that's how a clock works. It just works from an off state to an on state. So from not redstone to a on redstone. And understanding that will help us with the rest of the ICs. So let's turn that off or on or whatever. See? Okay, so the next one is going to be let's go for we'll go for falling toggle. Now this is the same as rising toggle, except instead of going from off to on, it is on to off. So it won't happen now, but it will happen when that goes on to off. And there you are. You see the change there. Okay, so that's basically the inverse of what we did. So now I'm going to go on for some cool ones. So there's some the basic redstone ones. We're going to be doing. Let's do MC1200. Now this is the mob spawner integrated circuit, and we are going to need some parameters for this. So on the third line and fourth line, I know usually where the parameters of the IC goes. So the parameters of the mob spawner is the type of mob. So there's angry wolf, chicken, cow, creeper, and all these are on the wiki. For this tutorial, we're going to do cow. So there we are, mob spawner. So now when this goes from off to on, a mob will be spawned. There we are, so that went from off to on and the cow is spawned. Now we go off and then on again. And there we are, and now the cow's been spawned. And it's pretty cool, it spawns on the block like that. I find that pretty funky. So let's go kill the cows. Okay, alright, so next one. And now I'm not going to go over all of them as I said, but I'm going to go over the cool ones. So now this is another cool one, MC1201, and that's the dispenser integrated circuit. So the line 3 is the item ID, and then the sub ID if it has one. So we're going to give myself stone, and then this is how many to drop. So we can have, just leave it blank for just one, or you can have like 20. Enter. So now when that goes from off to on, stone is spawned, and that should be 20 blocks there, and there we are, 20 stone blocks have been spawned. So let's spawn that again, and there we are. So you can modify that to how you need. It's pretty funky spawning mechanism. Next, what else? Could do block replace. I think we'll do arrow shooter. That's much cooler. Okay, so arrow shooter is MC1240. Line 3. Now this is speed and the spread. So speed is from 0.2 to 2. Let's do 2. And then spread is how wide it goes. So 0 being in one direction, 50 being everywhere. We'll do 50. And then the vertical velocity. So this is how far it goes. 0 is being default. We're actually going to set to 1. So now when the clock goes on, an arrow should be fired. I believe it actually might fire out the back. That one. Oh, it's going so fast actually. I might change that. You can see that. You might have seen it. I'll change it down just so you can see it, because it is going quite fast actually. MC1240. We'll change it to 0.2. We will put 50 quid on it again, and then 1. 0.3. Sorry. It says on the wiki 0.2. That was 50. So there we are. So now, there we are. You can easily see that one, nice and slow. And I'll just shoot a random arrow. See how slow they are. Because the spread's so wide, it's spamming it in a random direction. But if you set it to something lower, go into pretty much the same direction. There you are. And you can also, just by changing the ID of that exact same setup, 1, 2, 4, 1, it will just do 3 arrows randomly instead of 1, and that's arrow barrage. Okay, so let's do time control. So basically this will set the time today when the clock goes, and it has no parameters. So the sun is setting quite clearly, so if we set it on, bam, it's day. If we set it off, bam, it's night. So we can toggle the time of day is we're a switch and we're an integrated circuit. Now this bit isn't needed for this IC, as you can see. But that's pretty funky the way you can do that. Okay, what else have we got? We've got some ifs. We won't bother. Let's use something called. Yeah, we'll use a command sender. No, not command sender. This is message sender, so we can actually see. So this is MC1510. Line 3 is the player name, or you can leave it blank for all players, and then the message will go Sam Keo is pro. So now whenever that goes from low to high, I'll send a message to everyone saying Sam Keo is pro. And you can either set that to just a single player while doing it on the third line, and of course you can change the message. Let's do the water sensor actually, because it would be good to have some if ones. Okay, so right, I'll just send it up. Okay, so this one is MC onto 60, and this is the Y offset. So 0. This is basically search for a water block in the vertical place where this IC is. So this is what the block it's on. So 0 is the IC block, so we want the block below it, so that'll be -1. We can leave it default, as this is what it will be default. So we're just going to check for the block below it is water. So there we are, -1's been set. So if you see, nothing's happening. If we spawn some water and place it, now there's water there. Oh, my bad. Right, so now, as you can see now, when that goes from low to high, it sets this. And now if there isn't water, if we remove the water now, and then flick the switch, it turns off. Now we can make an auto sensor, and this is an automatic water sensor, and basically we won't have to use the clock to do it, and that's MC0260, and that's how if one works. There we are. So there isn't one there, and so the circuit's off. But if I place one in, bam, as soon as it's there, then the circuit is complete. So that's a pretty funky, nice little device. And there's lots of if triggered ones, like seeing if it's the day, seeing what time it is, seeing if there's lava and stuff like that. Okay, so there are the ICs. There's a lot of them, as I've said. Best idea is to play around with them, take a look at them, try their variables, get a good feel how to create them and whatnot. But hopefully I've gone over some of the cool ones, and you found that helpful. Okay, so now we're going to move on to another part of the plugin, which is going to be bridges, doors, gates and stuff. So let's start with creating a bridge. So this is pretty funky. I'm not sure if my config allows that sort of distance. Let's just make a small bridge over this tiny little gap. So first of all, let's create a bridge, not a bridge I guess. But on each side there has to be the same number of blocks on the same Z or axis. So now we need two signs. Now I'll give myself one. Just simply type bridge on the sign like that, and then you'll also want to create one the opposite side of the bridge on this one. And what you can now do by right clicking the bridge, what have I done there? I think I know what I've done. I haven't done it in the best of places, to be honest. But if I do that again, actually, sorry about that. I'll just do it on the floor. As you can see, just imagining the gap there. Let's do it again. Almost happening there. I just found having a bridge over. I'm not sure what just happened then. Let's just make sure that, yeah, it's all good. To the opposite side. Right click the bridge. And there we are. You can toggle the bridge on and off and it will just create some blocks. But there you go. So if there is something in the way though, like the redstone, then as you can see, as we've had before, it won't let you do it. And I believe there's something in the way over there, but I haven't got time to fix it. There we are, that's how you create a bridge. So you can make this over a longer distance, you can make it out of many materials as we've defined in the config. Let's go for gates. Let's go for gates. So let's create a gate. So create just a sort of, I guess, a doorway, if you like to call it. Oops. Against fence, I'm gonna fill it with fences. Now we need another sign. That's how you set up one. You can make these bigger or smaller. You just need to replace this near it and just type in gate. And then right click that, and then you can toggle the gate and then walk through it. So that's a pretty funky thing then. So as you can see, it's a very mechanical things to it, and these are great for like castles and whatnot. What else we got? We got toggleable areas. Now in the rehearsal this doesn't actually work, so I believe that could just be to the update, but I'll show you how to make one. So first of all we need a wood and hoe, and we're just going to right click this grass area here, okay? And F area and then the area name, we'll call it grass. There we are, FalseBook area saved raft, and then we can do, we can create a new sign. I'll place that down here, we'll call it grass, and then do toggle on the next one. And then we go, when we right click the sign, this bit will disappear and reappear. So that's really good. I mean, I really like this feature. You can set multiple areas and they'll just disappear and reappear. And it's great for like doors, big doors, secret walls and whatnot. And this will work with redstone. There we are. Works with redstone as well. And that's the same with gates, I believe. I hope so, anyway. Right, so I'm just going to do this for the fun of it. There we are, it does work with gates. and that should work with bridges as well. It works with roofing, really. I'm glad that worked. Toggleable netherrack and pumpkins and stuff. So let's try a pumpkin. So we place that down. And there we are. We can turn pumpkins on and off using redstone. We can change this block to glowstone, and that will change to cell sand. So they're great for like lights and stuff. Okay. And also netherrack fire. So let's want some netherrack and some fire. We can turn this on or off. So that's that. So that's gates, doors. There's also Minecraft blocks, which I'll go over now. So very similar to Minecraft Mania. These are blocks that can be modified to make the blocks go faster. So we're going to do a reverse block, which is bedrock. So place the bedrock down there. We got a thing, no, we haven't got it. So let's get some 9 tracks. Oh, like rails. I rail. There we go. And if I right click on that, it'll be reverse block created. And I'm just going to create the rest of the track. Place the cart down, and what we should see is it reversing on that block. But I believe we need to power it first, so let's give us a go. There we are. So there we are, that's how you set them up. You need to power the block first. And as you can see, that is making it like ping back, I guess, and go back. There's other ones. So there's boosters. Just stop this for a thing. I won't be able to destroy that, will I? I'll just turn it off for now. So there's boosters. Which I'll show you now. Now there's a booster times 2 and a booster times 8, which is a gold block. You do that exact same, just place it down, put the thing on top, and give it power. And so this should get gradually faster and faster. I've still got that turned on, haven't I? Oops. Okay, that's still working. Right, it's going faster and faster. As you can see, so that's gold blocks and gold ore. A station block is obsidian. A break block is gravel and soul sand. A constant speed block is an iron block. A deposit block, which will like deposit any contents on it, is an iron ore. And then you can use configuration to modify that as you feel needed. And that goes over quite a lot of the FalseBook things, I guess. Hope you find it useful. It's a great mechanical plugin, adds loads of new cool features. I mean, your imagination can really get going with this, because you can create like new mechanical things, new minecart systems, go faster, new lights, and you know, have a lot of fun with it. It's a great plugin, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is me, Sam here, WoopaGaming, signing out.